Live on a sunny and not brutally cold Tuesday morning in Northeast Ohio. Welcome on into the Bullpen. It's a Bull and Fox edition, as always, on Tuesday morning. Dustin, how you doing? It's going to be in the 40s today. Do you believe it?
I do believe it. As I was outside this morning, dude, I've been getting up, for my tennis at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
On the road to the courts by like 5:45, and it's been, like -5.
Yeah.
Which with wind chills like -15, whatever it is. The last
just
I don't
brutal.
know what feels like it's been a month of this frigid cold temps. Dude,
Yeah.
this morning I get out, it's like 20. Okay?
Yeah. Big difference.
I could have worn shorts.
I know. I think this afternoon it's going to feel like summer almost because it's been so cold.
Our bodies have adapted and adjusted to these frigid temperatures.
Yeah.
Where 40 degrees today will feel like we're in Florida.
Yeah. The last 3 weeks were the coldest 3 weeks. I don't know if it's just Cleveland or maybe Northeast Ohio in general.
Probably
in almost 50 years. The coldest stretch of 3 weeks in 50 years. That's over. Mostly 30s and 40s for the next. It's cool. It's in the 20s tomorrow and the next day. But anyway, that's your weather forecast. A lot to get to today.
Thanks, Mark Johnson.
I could not watch the Super Bowl because I was sick Sunday. I was barfing all over the place.
You had the exact experience I had with my Wimbledon this summer when I got sick, where I was so bad I couldn't watch me, a very big event.
Right.
Super Bowl, very big for you, of course. It's crazy. You couldn't watch it.
Aaron
watched. I was texting you. You didn't respond.
I know. I was so out of it. From Sunday about 1 o'clock until yesterday afternoon, I was just basically sleeping in and out of sleep because I was feeling so sick because I missed the medication that I can't miss, and I never do. But this is I think it's the second time I did it. So I didn't watch the game. My son was watching it. He kept giving me, he would give me the updates, but I couldn't look at TV. I just couldn't do it. So we'll get to the Super Bowl in a little bit. We'll get to David Njoku, who appears to be saying goodbye to Cleveland. Well, not appears to, is saying goodbye to Cleveland in an Instagram post. And we'll get to the Browns' DC search. So a lot of football. But we got to begin with the NBA, where the Cavs last night, Dustin, played their second game since their trades. Second game with James Harden, third game with Schroeder and Ellis. And it was their toughest test yet on the road, end of a long road trip, playing the Denver Nuggets, we know are one of the teams capable of winning a championship, against the best player in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, who just in his last game passed. I can't remember who he passed to become second all time in triple doubles in the NBA. But it was a struggle a little bit early. The Nuggets had the lead for most of the way. The Cavs would keep closing the gap, and then the Nuggets would spread out the lead. But in the end, the Cavs, with a big fourth quarter, down by 10, outscored the Nuggets, or down by 10 at one point in the fourth quarter, but outscored the Nuggets by 7 total in the fourth quarter. And on a three-pointer by James Harden, and then a couple of free throws by Donovan Mitchell, and then a missed three by Jokic at the buzzer, very tough shot. The Cavs come out on top, 119-117. And I'll tell you, it's only 2 games, Dustin, but right now I have a whole new attitude about this Cavaliers basketball team.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I watched that game. We were so excited Saturday night, right? That was in Sacramento, you know, the debut, essentially. They didn't get off to a great start, but then they battled and had a nice resilient comeback there in the fourth quarter in the final 4 minutes of the game, with Harden really leading the charge. Oh, obviously Donovan scoring a lot of points, but Harden was a big part of his catalyst for this offense. I mean, I think he had like 9 or 10 assists his first game. Had 7 assists last night, and I think he had like 1 assist in the first half. So like they really ratcheted up in the second half. But the thing I really like most, I think, about this trade is the energy that they brought. And it's not just Harden. I mean, Ellis and Schroeder, those two guys, with their ability to come into the game and just play with this tenacity and this aggressiveness, I really like the way that the team has responded. I think that they've got some nice lineups that Kenny's kind of playing around with right now. And listen, man, I know Sacramento's not a great win, but last night was a big win. It was a good test. You know, you're on the road, West Coast, one of the best teams in the game. facing the league's best player, in my opinion, in Jokic, and they got the job done. That was an impressive victory by the Cavaliers.
Yeah, James Harden has a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio since joining the Cavs in 2 games. And I thought there was some interesting. First of all, I know James Harden has a reputation as being a terrible defender, and one game is not going to change that reputation. But in the fourth quarter, when it mattered, James Harden was given a. Maybe this is minimal that it should be, but he seemed to be giving pretty good effort on the defensive end. Like he was making a difference on that side of the ball.
I specifically watched him in the Kings game Saturday night because I did stay up for that one to watch the entire thing. Last night I passed out. Obviously saw the highlights, but I was specifically watching Harden on the final possessions of the Kings game when they had to get those closeout stops to close it out, and he played hard. I know he's 36 years old and he's not probably the best defender, but he was. I mean, he might as well have smacked the floor and got down in a stance like he was ready to go. So this is something that's kind of exciting. Again, it's 2 games, so I don't want to go over the top about how excited I am, but it's the first time all year, Adam, as a season ticket holder, I've been to a bunch of games that I've been excited about this team and feel like there's a reason for us to be excited about what's to come here in the postseason.
And Evan Mobley hasn't played yet with this group, so it's going to be interesting to see how he fits in. The most interesting part, and Mikey McNuggets brought this up, and so far he's been dead on with this. We're seeing the best Jared Allen we've ever seen with James Harden.
And words right out of my mouth.
Right? I mean, he's just 22 and 13. I mean, he's finishing everything. Teams, you can't leave any of these guys open, and double teams are coming on Mitchell when he goes to the basket or James Harden when he goes to the basket. And they're both looking for Jared Allen in these situations. So they're either taking it to the hole and scoring, or they're pulling up, or they're finding Jared Allen who's getting easy looks, and he's playing like a different player right now. I've been very hard on Jared Allen. I've not been a huge fan in recent years. I thought he's kind of soft. I still think he's kind of soft until proven otherwise in a big spot. But he looks like a different player the last 2 games. I hope that keeps up.
He does. The thing that I love most about Jared Allen in the last couple of games is he's asserting himself.
Yeah, 100%.
It seems like a guy who's been hesitant, tentative at times. Like he's going for loose balls. Like sometimes he waits for the game to come to him. He's taking his game to everybody else right now. And it's, again, 2 games, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's more involved. I know, trust me, because I always lose on prop bets with that guy. Yeah. And now all of a sudden the guy's getting, 10 boards a game and scoring 20-something points. It's crazy.
The 2 games with Harden, Jared Allen has 51 points, so it's 25.5 points per game, 11.5 rebounds a game, a half an assist, 1 assist per game, and only 1 turnover. And he's made 21 out of 28 field goals. He's just been phenomenal in these 2 games. Now, as we said, long way to go. After you got 1 more game here at home, first home game for Harden and Schroeder and Ellis coming up. And those guys have fit in nicely too. Ellis had a nice play at the basket. They're kind of filling the gaps when Harden and or Donovan are getting a rest. They're getting some action. Obviously, we know Schroeder's good at going to the basket.
He's a pest, too, on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, so is Ellis.
Yep. I mean, Ellis adds 3-and-D big time. I mean, he's knocked down some big jumpers. Both of their aggressiveness on the defensive end has been crucial, especially with those backup lineups.
Yeah. They're just much more fun to watch right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, who knows? They could be knocked out in the second round of the playoffs like they've been, and whatever. Look at that. 3rd best odds right now to win the NBA title at plus 1,200 here at Bet Rivers. Obviously, the Oklahoma City an overwhelming favorite, but the Cavs, right now it feels like they can play with anybody in the East, certainly. And even though the West is much better, in the end, if you can get through the East, you only have to beat 1 Western team. Certainly the Thunder would be favored. They should be favored.
Yep.
Right now, I'd pick the Thunder 10 times out of 10 against the Cavs because it's way too early with this new group. But I think they've got a very good chance. I mean, if they stay healthy and play anything like they're playing right now, they got a really good chance in the East, if nothing else.
Oh, there's no question right now that this team, I think, has a chance to be a title contender. I want to see more. I want to see Evan Mobley. Now, I pray to God Mobley comes into this lineup and fits in seamlessly and everything looks great. I'm worried that maybe he doesn't. And then we start to question, like, okay, because he was obviously Mobley is a big part of this team and that whole deal. But we need him involved. He's going to be a part of the run.
Right.
So when he gets back, they're going to need him to play well.
Absolutely. Let's get some fan comments on this situation. Let's say Larry says, good morning. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning.
Fatal Cheeseburger says, today will be the best day to be a mailman so far this season. Just 3 layers of clothes instead of 10 or whatever he's been wearing. I can see that, man. There's been some tough weather for the mailmen and women.
No doubt. Those guys are grinders. War Daddy's out there.
Yeah. Joe K-Back says, look at Bull getting hyped at the Cavs. You're back in on them. Yeah, I've been so down on them. I've had to force myself to watch, and now I'm excited to watch. I'll be more excited to watch 7 and 8 o'clock games than 10 o'clock games. But
oh yeah, no doubt.
We got 1 game left before the break. They play the Wizards at home, and then you get a week off, and then after that, I'm really excited because after the All-Star break, you look at the Cavs schedule. They got a stretch of games against really good teams that I'm interested in. They play Brooklyn and Charlotte right after the break, but then starting next or in 2 weeks on the 22nd, a Sunday, at Oklahoma City, Knicks at home.
God bless you.
Thank you. At the Bucks, at the Pistons, at Brooklyn, Detroit at home, Boston at home, Philly at home, at Orlando. Like that's a really fun stretch of games from February 22nd through March 11th where they're playing mostly good teams that I'm excited to check out. And at this point, we're 2 months away from the playoffs. The playoffs start, I think, Tuesday, April 14th, something like that. So we're just 2 months away, and the Cavs sit at 33-21. They have 28 games left in the season. They're currently the 4 seed in the East, but just a game and a half back, 2 in the loss column behind both the Knicks and the Celtics for the 2 seed. Ideally you'd like to be the 2 seed because then you get to play one of the play-in teams. Although I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll see how it ends up. The top teams in the play-in are probably not much worse than Philly and Toronto are at the bottom of the top 6 right now. But let's see. Creative Juice says, Harden played defense in the 4th. Big steps from Allen with Harden. I'm sorry. If Mobley doesn't mesh well, open the door for a Giannis trade in the offseason. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe. Rocco knows his big steps from Allen with Harden. No doubt about it. All right, let's switch gears to the NFL. Let's start with David Njoku, Dustin, who posted on Instagram yesterday, goodbye to Browns fans. David Njoku has been he said he's not re-signing. Who knows if the Browns were even interested in bringing him back. Obviously, Harold Fannin is the future at the position. I thought it was time to move on from David Njoku. Nice player. He's been a good guy. He's been a good teammate, a good representative of the team, unlike a lot of other players. But the Browns have to be diligent about where they spend their money, and tight end right now is not a position to me that they should be spending any money.
No, and not on a guy like him who is. I mean, honestly, you watch this season. I mean, it looked like he lost a step. I thought this year, didn't look quite as athletically freaky as he's been in the past, and for whatever reason, just didn't have the impact. And unfortunately, the Browns are not going to pay him. And I don't know, what's the market for Njoku?
I'm not sure. That'll be interesting. I mean, it's not, he's younger than people think because obviously, remember, he came into the league very young.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 29. It's not like it feels like he should be in his 30s because he's been in the league so long, but he will actually turn 30 right before the season. So, and he's coming off a bad year. In fact, it's his worst year since 2020. Let's face it. I mean, he's only had one really good season. That was 2023, where he was a Pro Bowler. besides that, he's been mediocre. I mean, to me, I guess he's a starting tight end because there's not 32 tight ends better than David Njoku, but he's a lower tier starting tight end, and nobody's paying him big money. I think, he's probably getting $3 million, $5 million, somewhere in that range. If he ends up on a team with a really good offense, he could play a role as a fourth option.
Sure.
Certainly. But I don't know. Maybe he's not. Maybe teams are looking at him as a backup at this point. I may be wrong. Maybe even $3 to $5 million is more than he's.
How old is he again, you said?
He's going to turn 30 this summer.
Okay.
His best year was 23 at 882 yards and 6 touchdowns. Last 2 years combined in 23 games, because he's had injuries, he's had 798 yards combined over the last 2 years and 9 touchdowns. So, I mean, he was okay when he was healthy in 24. This year was a disaster. But consistently, he's a decent red zone target. I mean, he's had at least 4 touchdowns on a bad team 5 years in a row. So I still think he could play a role for a team. But I think it's time for the Browns to move on. And if I'm him, I go play, I find a really good quarterback on another team, and I try to get in there as in the mix at tight end.
I mean, I'd be trying to go down to Atlanta and play with Stefanski.
Yeah, maybe.
He loves the tight ends, and
I mean, Kyle Pitts is a free agent, but I'm sure they want to bring Kyle Pitts back.
Bring him back and bring back Njoku. Then you got the 2 tight ends.
Yep. Yeah, he would fit as like a second tight end with Pitts, especially because he can block.
Be great for that team to have like a guy like him as a second tight end, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, as a second tight end, he's
for
top.
Sure.
It would be top of the line, but so we wish him the best. I mean, again, he's been a good representative, good guy. Early in his career, he wanted to be traded, and then the Browns paid him, and then, he was just he did what he had to do. He was an okay player. He wasn't ever worthy of a first-round pick. The Browns drafted him in the first round. He didn't live up. He's been a nice, solid NFL player, but not a first-round pick. He was not first-round pick worthy, but, it is what it is. Before we move on and take more comments here, I want to let you know something really important, folks. If you're a user of the BetRivers app, if you are not a user of the BetRivers app, if you're not using BetRivers for your gambling needs, well, now's the time to do it because I've got a great deal for you. BetRivers and the Bullpen are giving away our first bonus bet of the year to all Bullpen listeners from now through February 22nd. So you got almost 2 weeks. Go to the BetRivers Ohio app, enter the code ATB202. That's ATB202 and get a $10 bonus bet at BetRivers. There you go. Free money, right? $10 bonus
Easy
bet.
Easy money.
The code again is ATB202. ATB202. Available only in Ohio. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's see. Joe says, enjoy Kansas City, David. Yeah, I could see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they'd like to bring Kelsey back for one more year. I will see if he's that'd be weird if Kelsey retired. I don't think Kelsey's going to want to end his career the way this season ended. I bet he comes back for one more year.
But I mean, he's won 3 Super Bowls?
Yeah, but I'm going to predict he comes back for one more year. Obviously I have no inside information there. Travis Kelce is going to
probably right, dude. The Mahomes injury, they're not going to go out like that. Like at least another year or 2, I bet.
He's still at age 36 played every game this year. It's amazing. This year was statistically the worst season of his career. Or, second worst, because he actually played one less game. But if you look at a per-game basis, it was the worst season of his career. 851 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's the worst season of his career. That's how good that guy is. That's David Njoku's best season. Is Travis Kelce's worst season.
Do you believe we brought him on our show when he was not even in the NFL?
Nope. In Cincinnati. Who knew what he'd become?
Crazy.
And now he's, maybe the greatest tight end ever. Certainly one of the greatest tight
One of
ends
them.
ever. And so we'll see if he comes back. Larry says, bring Isaiah Likely in. I don't know what, if you can get Isaiah Likely very cheap, okay. I mean, obviously Todd Monken's worked with him, and he's always had potential, but the Browns have bigger priorities than another tight end. I'm good with Harold Fannin and, go getting a veteran blocking tight end for the minimum salary. You need wide receivers. You need offensive linemen. You need quarterback. You need everything else on offense. I think it's the one position there where they don't really need to spend any money as tight end. I think. We'll see what they do.
I mean, you're right, though. I mean, with Fannon's going to be a star in this league. Like, let's find another one, draft one in the 5th or 6th round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Get a rookie in here. No problem.
Yeah. I don't need to bring in a veteran tight end. I get it. A couple of people have said, well, you need 2 good tight ends. Well, first of all, you don't need 2 good tight ends. It's a nice luxury to have, and some teams do it, and it'd be great if the Browns did it. But that's not an area with all the needs the Browns have. To me, that's a very low priority in terms of what they should be doing. And again, Harold Fannin is a rookie on a terrible team with terrible quarterback play, in 16 games, had 72 catches, 731 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I mean, that you can't, I mean, considering the circumstances, you can't do much better than he did as a rookie.
It was as good as you could ever expect. And a 3rd-round pick.
Right. All right, let's talk about Browns DC situation, obviously. We haven't spoken since we haven't spoken on the air since Jim Schwartz officially resigned. Appears he's going to sit out this season. And the Browns are now doing a extensive search here to find the new DC. They've spoken with a couple of people, or will be speaking with a couple of people within the organization. They're talking with guys from outside the organization. But I think one of the keys here, Dustin, is you got to hire somebody that is going to basically play the same system. You can't make any wholesale changes when you have a defense that is built to play the style that Jim Schwartz had. And it doesn't mean that he's irreplaceable. He's not. But you've got to find somebody that wants to run either the same or a very similar style of defense.
Correct.
Because that's what you've built. That's the
you're not
defense is
you're
already
not changing
built.
Schemes. I mean, you already know what you're going to be running. You're not going to like a 3-4.
Right.
You're not. You need to play a very similar style.
Yes.
That they played a year ago.
Have to. So interesting that one of the guys they're interviewing is an assistant coach right now with the Falcons. But they're talking with, obviously most of these guys they're talking with don't have a lot of experience as a coordinator, if any, in a lot of those cases. But it's an important hire because obviously this defense has a high standard, and if the defense goes backwards at all, fair or not, they're going to get blamed. Whoever the DC is. I mean, I know some people might look at this as a good job because you have a lot of talent, and that's true. But any backslide from this defense, it's going to be 100% blamed on the new DC.
I mean, it's 1,000% is. Yeah. And listen, the new DC is going to have a ton of pressure.
Yep.
Ton of pressure to coach Myles Garrett to come in here after like this disgruntled defensive coordinator that all the fans love and wanted back. The team wanted him back. Yeah. And then this guy's going to come in. He'll be the scapegoat, guaranteed.
Yes.
That's
100%.
It's not going to be an easy job.
Nope. But there is a lot of talent. That's the one positive.
No
they
doubt,
shouldn't.
There is.
Now, defenses are more finicky than offenses. From year to year, even with Jim Schwartz, in 23, they were really good. 24, they were mediocre. Well, maybe better than mediocre, but say average, above average. And 25, they were very good again. So even with Jim Schwartz, they could have gone backwards this year, but nobody's going to look at it that way. Right. By the way, we got a chat from Bill Time, 1027. He says, hey, Bull and Dustin, love listening to you guys talk all things Cleveland. Listening in from Tokyo as usual.
As usual? What time is
I want to go to Tokyo, man. I want to go to Japan. I'm obsessed with going to Japan. I don't know if I'll ever go. Yeah, I really want to go. I'm like fascinated by, I want to go to Japan and I want to go to South Korea. I'm fascinated by some of these Asian cultures that I just find very interesting, and I find the people very interesting, and I want to experience it. I don't know if I ever will, but I really would like to at some point.
That's cool.
So
I don't know if I. Part of it is just the flight getting there.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly. It's midnight, by the way, in Tokyo right now. Midnight tonight, like Tuesday night. Okay. Final thing, the Super Bowl. Obviously, we were supposed to be on yesterday, but since I was sick and didn't get a chance to watch the game on Sunday, the game kind of played out. I know played out like I thought. I thought it'd be one-sided. It took them a little longer to pull away, but in the end, the Seahawks. I went into the game thinking I must have had 52 people on Saturday and Sunday before the game say, hey, what's it going to be? And I said, the Patriots can't run the ball right now. You're going to be one-dimensional with a second-year quarterback against a defense that hadn't given up more than 16 points to any team but the Rams in 2 months. Good luck. And that's exactly what happened. And Sam Darnold didn't even play a particularly great game, Dustin, but they ran the ball well behind Kenneth Walker, who I think is really underrated. Their defense was tremendous. And the Patriots really didn't do anything till garbage time offensively.
I don't even know if it was garbage time late because it was the whole fourth quarter. They played better. I thought that interception that Drake May threw when there was 5 minutes to go or something, or 8 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
They were down. I think they were down 15 at that point in time. If they go down there and get a touchdown, like it could have been interesting to watch the finish. But
true.
Listen, I thought the game plan of Seattle to pressure Drake May the way that they did, all the blitzing by the secondary. I mean, Witherspoon was blitzing all day.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable play. I remember I called one of his games at Illinois back in 22, and I was like, this guy's gonna be a star. And really, really good player there for the Seahawks. I love their defense. I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I think he deserves it. It's a great story of resilience and never giving up. You know, I don't know. I really like their head coach. I didn't really know much about him.
Yeah.
Did a little deep dive, rabbit hole down the Wikipedia / every other Google search I could, after the game. Like, who is this guy? 36 years old and is a Super Bowl champion coach. Like, pretty cool. Pretty cool story.
It's a great story. They're an excellent team. They had those great teams with the great defenses with Richard Sherman and those guys, and then they did a second version. And here they are again with a different coach. And our buddy Jay Crawford, apparently, neither one of us was on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show yesterday, but Jay loves the idea that you can win without a great quarterback. And
Sam Darnold's a great quarterback.
Yeah, he convinced. He tried to argue yesterday that the Seahawks, won because of running and defense, and that's all you need. And even though Sam Darnold did not play a great game yesterday, he's been at worst a top 10 quarterback for the last 2 years. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
And number two, can you win the actual Super Bowl if your quarterback doesn't play great? Of course, we've seen it. But with rare exceptions, and certainly we've seen none of this in recent years, you cannot win consistently without good quarterback play. It's not about the one game. Yes, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl more because of their defense and their running than because of Sam Darnold. Won this actual game. But if they had Geno Smith as their quarterback all year, I don't mean to send bullets to Geno, but if Geno Smith had been their quarterback all year, they would not have won the Super Bowl.
No chance.
Right? So it's that simple. So yes, the better defense won. And it's important, obviously, to have a good team. The better quarterback you have, the less you need around him. Doesn't mean you need nothing around him. But ultimately, you can't consistently win in the NFL without good to great quarterback play. It's that simple. And so even though Darnold wasn't the reason they won the Super Bowl in the game itself.
It wasn't the reason they won that game.
Right, exactly.
It's one game. You get to the Super Bowl, like, you throw everything out the window. You're playing that one game and that one opponent. It's a game plan. Like,
they would not have gotten past the Rams without Sam Darnold.
Yeah, he even said it in the post game. Like, he's like, I didn't have a great game, but we did whatever it took to get the win.
That's right. So anyway, all right. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Again, I want to remind you to make sure you're using the Bet Rivers app. because Bet Rivers and the Bullpen are giving away our first bonus bet of the year to Bullpen listeners from now until February 22nd. Go to your Bet Rivers Ohio app, enter the code ATB202, and get a $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers. You see it right there. It's for all the listeners. Take advantage of this. Everybody watching and listening to this podcast, either live right now or later today or tomorrow, as long as it's by February 22nd, make sure you take advantage. Enter the code ATB202, get the $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers. The code again, ATB202, available only in Ohio, must be 21, eligible players only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thanks to Levi and Alex for producing today. Dustin and I'll be back on Thursday morning at 9:30. Maybe the Browns will have a DC by then. Until then, we'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here in the Bullpen with Bull and Fox. See you, everybody. Bet Rivers.